Thank you, Emily. Please give it up again for Emily and the Jewish God. Thank you. Now, our next speaker is a Palestinian heritage comedian, professor, and activist. Please make some noise for Ahmed Zahir.
Hello, London. I am joining you today from America. And while I'm ashamed to be American, I am so honored to be with all of you here today. And my voice as a Palestinian is to say today, the biggest lie they tell about us is that we are a people full of hate. Do we hate people for who they are? No, we love everybody. We hate occupation, we hate apartheid, we hate racism. We love, and as a Palestinian today, it's important for me to say that I love my Irish brothers and sisters, that I love my Lebanese brothers and sisters protecting the north of our country, that I love our Yemeni brothers and sisters who put a little toll plaza in the Red Sea, that I love our South African brothers and sisters who fought in the Court of Justice, and that we love the students in America standing up. And I say to them, as I say to all of you here today, I am very honored to be with all of you and my fellow enemies of the state. Yes, they might think that we are enemies of the state, but there is no shame in that. Martin Luther King was an enemy of the state. Malcolm X was an enemy of the state. Nelson Mandela was an enemy of the state. Cesar Chavez was an enemy of the state. The prophets Jesus and Muhammad were enemies of the state. There is no shame in saying who we are. We stand here today as the people who hold the truth. And that is what all of you share here today when you stand up for Palestine. This is not complicated. They try to tell you it's complicated. It is not. In Palestine, we have a city square named after Nelson Mandela. In Israel, they have a settlement named after Balfour. This is not complicated. There are separate roads for Arabs and Jews. When they march down the street, they say death to Arabs. When we march down the street, we say free, free Palestine. This is not complicated. And so our message as people around the world, and especially me, to Genocide Joe, in fact, let's let him hear it in London. Genocide Joe! Our message is that November is coming. You think you can scare us with Donald Trump? We have survived 75 years of genocidal Israel. 4 more years of that idiot Trump does not scare us at all. And our last message to Israel is that we are not going anywhere. They are trying to get rid of us today. They've been trying to get rid of us for 75 years. And we are not going anywhere. You meet Palestinians around here, they have 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. They drop bombs, we drop babies. So we are not going anywhere. You find a Palestinian back home, you tell him how many kids you have. He says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say, how old are they? He says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are not going anywhere. The hospitals in Gaza today are full of our martyrs, but 9 months from now, they will be full of our mothers having more children. And so we are full of love and truth. Look at the person next to you and tell them, thank you for coming today. Now look at the person next to you and tell them, I'm proud of you. Now look at the person next to you and tell them, I love you. Tell them again, I love you. We are a people full of love, and one more time, free, free Palestine.
Once again, give it up for Ahmed. I have some good news. We still have more people joining the march, and we estimate there are around 200,000 of us protesting in the streets today. Our next speaker is a British Palestinian journalist and independent parliamentary candidate for Ealing North. Please give a warm welcome to Sameh Habib.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. I was born in the Gaza Strip. I came here as a refugee. Before I came to this march, I spoke to my family in the Gaza Strip, and they have another message for you. They're still strong, defiant, resilient. They will never give up their fight. As a British Palestinian, I suffered the injustice when I lived in the Gaza Strip, and I still suffer it here with this government, with this opposition, which enabled this ongoing genocide in the Gaza Strip. Both of the both of the Conservative government and the Labour Party are involved in this ongoing genocide. I decided to run for the parliament simply to resist and to rebel against the Labour Party. Therefore, me and many other independent candidates are putting their name forward to defeat Labour in many, many seats across this country. Both of Labour and Conservatives are involved in the ongoing genocide in Gaza. We have to show them that we can get them out of the House of Commons soon in the next general election. Make sure next week in the mayoral election to also vote against both Conservatives and Labour Party. We have many choices when we go on to cast our voices. Make sure not to vote for any of those parties. The Labour Party that we always vote for and we give our votes for granted is no longer the party we once believed in. It's an unprincipled party that is held hostage to the donors. And recently, one of the Labour donors is an individual and a company that supported apartheid in South Africa. Make sure in the next general election not to vote for Conservatives and not for the Labour Party. Thank you.
Now, one of the most insidious ways in which Israel defends its genocide is through what is widely known as pinkwashing. Our next group have devoted themselves to smashing through this lie, to uplifting the voices of LGBTQ+ Palestinians who have absolutely no doubt that their enemy is the Israeli occupation and that their friends are those of us in the global solidarity movement. So please welcome Jack from Queers for Palestine.
Hello, London! We are here following the call of Palestinian Liberation Organization Queers in Palestine to strike, to boycott, to interrupt business as usual, and to demand an end to the occupation of Palestine. Here in Britain and around the world, LGBTQ people have been on the front lines these past 7 months opposing genocide. This week, we called on Ollie Alexander and the BBC outside their headquarters to boycott the Eurovision Song Contest and to end the BBC's dishonest, genocide-enabling coverage. Queerness for us is about the struggle to be free from all oppression. And we know that imperialist and Zionist oppression harm us all. As trans-Palestinian activist Yazan Zaza has said, Palestine is the epitome of placelessness and the beating heart of worldwide struggle. It is the most queer. Around the world, this is why queer and trans people are standing up. We share pain and joy with our Palestinian siblings of all genders and sexualities. We know our history. We know that the British Empire is the world's largest exporter of anti-gay, anti-trans laws. And we know our present. We know what it means to be denied healthcare, safety, and a passport. Here in Britain, trans people in particular right now knows what it means to have our families, our lives, and our right to self-determination be under attack. That is why so many of us are here today. Marching alongside you these past 7 months, I have never felt safer or more proud to be an openly gay transgender man here in the streets of London. It is an honor and a joy to stand together for the greatest liberation struggle of our time. None of us is free until all of us are free. When we say Queers for Palestine, you say no pride in genocide. Queers for Palestine. Thank you very much.
Make some noise for Queers for Palestine! Our final speaker for today is another man who needs no introduction. He's the director of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, at the heart of organising today's march. Please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Ben Jamal!
Thank you, friends. I want to thank you all again for coming here, 200,000 strong. Now, whenever we rally in Hyde Park, I am reminded of the fact that the very first rally for Palestine in Britain took place here in Hyde Park in March 1921. A delegation of Palestinians who had come to Britain seeking the overthrow of the Balfour Declaration organised that rally. How do I know that? Well, I know that because the secretary to that delegation who spoke at that rally was a man called Shibli Jamal. He was my great uncle. 100 years of Palestinians in Hyde Park calling upon the British government for justice. Friends, despite everything you have heard in the media this week, this is not a march fueled by hate. It is a march fueled by love. It is a march fueled by the love that is at the heart of solidarity, a recognition that an injustice against anyone, anywhere, is an injustice to everyone, everywhere. A love rooted in a belief in the dignity of all human beings, a love that leads us to be unified in our struggles against racism, recognizing that if you are an anti-racist, then you must stand in opposition to the apartheid of the State of Israel and the ideology of Zionism that claims that between the river and the sea, only one people, Jewish people, have rights and the Palestinians have none at all. That is the same love that is leading students across the US and here in the UK, in Warwick University, right now, to occupy their campuses and call for divestment from the companies supporting Israel's oppression. And friends, it is that love and those principles which lead us to condemn our government, which has become part of the axis of genocide. A government that continues to sell weapons to Israel, even as Israel uses starvation as a weapon of war. And even as right now in Gaza, mass graves are being uncovered, Palestinians being exhumed with their hands tied behind their back. So friends, your protests are building a movement that is bringing the people with us and piling the pressure on the political establishment. So we do not stop. The pro-Israel voices across the political establishment are waiting for you to stop. They are waiting for you to get tired, to go back to your homes and leave the Palestinian people isolated. Are you tired? Are you ready to stop? Are you ready to stop marching? Are you ready to stop boycotting? We do not stop because our Palestinian brothers and sisters will not stop. They will endure. They will prevail. They will rise again from the midst of destruction as they have always done. They know that the struggle is long, as my great uncle Shibli knew that the struggle would be long. So finally, let us be inspired by the words of Ghassan Abu Sitta to students in Glasgow. He said this: when the experience of powerlessness is at its most acute, when history seems at its most bleak, that is when the determination to think like a human being, creatively and courageously, matters the most. It is your world to fight for. It is your tomorrow to make. We will own tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Palestinian day. So friends, let us work with our Palestinian brothers and sisters to build that new tomorrow, to welcome the day when the walls of apartheid, like the walls of Jericho, finally come tumbling down, and when the sun will finally rise over a free Jerusalem, over a free Haifa, and over a free Gaza. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Thank you.
Now, we said that was the last speaker, but we have one last act for you. Please give a very warm welcome to Palestinian Musical Collective with a formidable following right across the globe. We're very, very lucky to have here with us today 47